Namaste, beloveds. This is Valerie Ames, also known as Mother with Wisdom, and it's been a while since I have done a video, and I just want to, um, I wanted to do one since this is the end of March, and this is a way of honoring my mother and her energy um, as this month as this day is the last day of March. So this is the um, I'll say the ending of some deep energies that I've been holding on to, and that I have um, come to the point where I'm ready to finally let go of. And I wanted to pull some cards um, just to see what guidance Spirit gives for this particular day. And I wanted to share it with you. So this is not just for me, um, it is for everyone. So I'm going to start with the uh, Medicine Woman um, tarot deck. And I've already pulled three cards, and I'll read them in the order that they were pulled. There's no specific pattern or um, flow that I'm following with it. You can look at it as past, present, and future if you choose. You can look at it as body, mind, and soul. Um, However you want to look at it, I'll let you use your discretion. It's open. It's wide open. So here we go again. And the first card that was pulled was the Bounty card, which in the regular tarot deck, it is the Empress card. It's number 3, and I'm going to show you um, that card. Again, that card is Bounty in the Medicine Woman deck, and again, I just love it because, as you can see, this Empress is reclining. She has everything. She's comfortable. She's nurturing her child. She's nurtured. She's rooted. She's grounded. She's good. And so let's see what Catherine Bridges has to say about this card. 3, Bounty. Number and meaning. 3, expression, fertility. Traditional name, the Empress. Medicine Woman energy, bountiful Earth Mother. Affirmation, I am a fertile ground of possibility. My talents, abilities, and experiences now combine and compel me towards my highest expression. As I allow myself to be nurtured, I am confident that I will flower. How beautiful is that? That's just sending me, like I said. The card speaks. Some have called me Mother Nature, others the goddess of earth. By any name, I am a woman in a paradise of creation. I am the lush beauty of the natural world. I am pregnant with potential. I control the material world through the images I hold in my mind and give them fuel through my love. I recognize the laws of nature and work with them. This is my power. My mind draws from what I observe and integrates this with what can be. My world is therefore in balance. And beloveds, I want to stop just for a minute as I'm guided to do, just to say this. When you are aware of the vastness, when you are aware of what being pregnant with possibility truly means, when you are aware that you can harness the power of your mind, your divine God-given mind, to bring up and to bring about and manifest balance, that is indeed a power. That is indeed a power of nature. And when you use it in accordance with nature, abundance is possible. Abundance. What do you want in abundance? Do you want unconditional love in abundance? Do you want unlimited peace of mind in abundance? What do you desire to have or to experience an abundance of, to be in experience of, to be able to produce abundantly, to give birth to abundantly? In a balanced way. You are pregnant with potential. I love that. I live in the garden of my delights. I choose my concepts wisely, like the flowers I choose to plant. Every idea is a seed. I water what is beautiful. I am the womb of creation, through which the fullness of life flows into every thought I dwell upon, giving it life. I bear the children who are the arts of myself, needing to be expressed. I bear the children who are the arts of myself, needing to be expressed. As a writer of poetry, of stories, of my dreams and visions and feelings and thoughts, this is very profound card for me today. Um, like I said, I can, there is maternal energy all over it. There is all kind of generational nudging going on. I can tell you with this card because of the way that it feels, the energy feels. Um, it's just very deep. Let me keep going. As the cosmic mother, I have given you life in order that you may blossom into your fullness. I preserve my youthful vitality by my sensuous participation in life with the plant ones I speak, asking them to give me their nourishment. With all things and creatures, I am in constant telepathic communication, guiding their energies in my life. And but let me finish. There is no thought that is not heard. Never is a word unheeded. Thus I have abandoned worry, for it calls that which I do not want. My call is the medicine call for all that is beauty into my life. I don't know if you followed me on Facebook or not, but lately the rainbow has been really speaking to me of its wisdom and its vibration and frequency, and the need for me to pay more attention to the colors in my life and the to see it as a ladder and to be able to use it as a check and balance of where I am in my ascension and descension. So for me, it has become a map the Rainbow Bridge is actually, you know, a bridge. It is a map leading you from one place to another place, from one frequency into higher frequencies or into lower frequencies as you choose to use them. So it's also about fine tuning and balancing. And in the rainbow, there's a saying that at the end of the rainbow is a pot of gold. Well, the rainbow is an arc, it's a circle. So it's they're two they're two. What I'm being told is there are two pots of treasure, one seen and one unseen. So that's very deep. And okay, let me. Where was I going with that? Okay, the telepathic communication. Again, the rainbow and the colors of the rainbow, the language of the rainbow has been speaking to me. It's been speaking to me through the language of the chakras. It's been speaking to me through the covenant promised in the Bible. It's been speaking to me in the language of the child version of me who just would see one and be in so much awe. And it's also speaking to me, how can I say this? I don't want to use the word genetically, but from through my ancestors. I'll put it that way. I was led a couple of nights ago to Hawaii and just immersed in the connection between the light and the water and the land and the energies and vibrational frequencies that have always existed. And when you have the combination of the three and you actually have that rainbow materialize and all the things that it symbolizes. And there was a singer, Israel, whom I immediately related to and had come in and I had known of him before, but this particular early morning hours, there was such a bond. I don't want to say I was channeling him. I don't want to say give it a name because there's no name I can give it. But there was a synchronicity with his energy. And he was so connected to the blood of the land that it was so powerful to me. So again, that rainbow, and his song was Somewhere Over the Rainbow, his version of it. And if you know me, that's kind of a thing for me. The whole Wizard of Oz thing, it's one that allows me to go into many realms. And there are many lessons within that. And the ultimate lesson is everything that you've been looking for and asking around for and searching for and questioning and looking is already inside of you. And it's your foundation. And all you had to do was click those heels 3 times. Your feet are your foundation. They are what holds you up. So that's very that was very powerful for me, beloveds, again. And again, this being the card 3, being bounty and pots of rainbow, the pots of gold at the end of the rainbow, and abundance. It's all tied together, very much so. And again, being inside of you, being pregnant with the potential of abundance. And knowing that and owning that, it's very powerful. Self-questioning. Think of your mind as a garden. What is growing there? Exercise. Walk in nature. Begin to talk with the beings there. Then stop to listen for the telepathic answers. Again, that word telepathic. Again, I have been, how can I say, opening up to more telepathic messages. Usually that I can say it like this, that channel is, for me, is closed and usually one way, only the guides are allowed, those that I'm familiar with. But I'm a little bit more open now, and when I close my eyes, I have actually been traveling, is the only word I can use it, and I can see different things that are going on in different places. And it's not always that I can recognize where I'm at, but sometimes I'm in people's homes and can see them walking in music and just feel things going on. And I've noticed that one thing I'm able to do even more now is to telepathically connect with my children, which is deep within itself, because there is an instinctual maternal intuition and instinct already present there. But now there's a deeper feeling. And so I've been observing that. And that has to do, communication is very powerful. And when you learn how to be open to the potential of communicating telepathically with someone, it really is a bond of trust, because you are energetically seeking conversation with this person. So it's very deep. Like I said, I've known about telepathy a long time, and it has come to me that this would be a bona fide way of communicating as we began to elevate in our awareness and consciousness, and we will get to the point where it will be the preferred method of communicating, as it once was before. But it's very familiar to me, and I'm just having to almost step back a little bit and observe myself in this mode once again. And it's just deep. It's just deep, and I know it's going to get deeper. So let me just keep going. One of the things I'm to bring up again, I preserve my youthful vitality by my sensuous participation in life. Okay. Youthful vitality with your senses. Beloveds, I want you to Google or look up or look into the Eye of Horus and the different fractions. And those fractions were the senses. And beloveds, what this is saying is that our youthful vitality, or our vital force, our vital life force, is based primarily on our senses. And when we are very much in tune with the things we are feeling, and when we are very much in tune with ourselves emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually, and we are aware of the senses of each of these in a way that's woven together, there is a force that uplifts and keeps everything was everything flowing on a cellular level. Everything, the way I'm seeing, is bathed in light. Okay, every cell is sparking and bathed in light. When the senses of the mind, the emotions, the mental, your thoughts, your physical, and your spiritual senses are integrated and being used and expressed, this is what keeps you young. This is what keeps the spark alive within you, this fire. I hope that came through right. Okay. Exercise, walk in nature, begin to talk with the beings there, then stop to listen for their telepathic answers. Go now into a relaxed state. It would be beneficial if you are able to be outdoors or to hear the outdoors. Walk into the garden mentally of the Earth Mother. Ask her to tell you of her hidden potential, where your talent not yet used, the child living within you as an unexpressed self. Ask her what your next step might be to bring forth this new being. Wow, I'm going to read that again. And before I do that, beloveds, I am going to pause just for a moment. Okay, I got cold, so I had to put my robe on. Here we go. I'm going to repeat the last part that I read. Go now into a relaxed state. It would be beneficial if you are able to be outdoors or to hear the outdoors. Walk into the garden mentally of the Earth Mother. And beloveds, I live in an apartment, and sometimes it's not feasible, and especially now with the coronavirus, of going outside and just walking, whether in nature or whatever, however you want to do it. You can always, there are some beautiful nature sounds on YouTube. Some beautiful, not only sounds, but the videos are quite beautiful with the colors and the scenery and just everything. And it doesn't have to be words. It can also just be scenes in nature. And like I said, put something on that allows you to go into that mode within yourself that you can tap into nature with. Okay. Ask her to tell you of your hidden potential, your hidden potential, that which you've probably always heard people say, you have so much potential, or I expect so much more out of you, or you're capable of great things, or when are you going to just let it fly, or just open up and let that tiger out? When are you going to be able to give all of yourself, or give more than what you've been given? because there's more there. What this card is saying that it's time for that more to be expressed, because you've been carrying around this potential. And it describes this potential as um, the child living within you as an unexpressed self. And that child, if you think about children and how excited they can get and how hyper they can get and how into something they give them of themselves 100% for that moment, for whatever it is, they're totally there, present with whatever it is. And this is saying that we need to be like that again. We need to understand and find the potential in the moment and bond with the potential of that moment and be excited by what unfolds. Okay. And when getting to this child, ask her what her next step might be to bring forth this new being that is ready to indulge 100%, to go to the max, to just be buck wild, so to speak, to have nothing holding her, no shame, blame, trust issues, none of that. Just to go and just dive in, come hell or high water, knowing that whatever is there, this child has no fears. This child has no expectations. This child has no conditioning. And this card is saying, this is what you're full of. And this is what you need to express next. Like I said, this is a very personal reading for me, but it's for us all, beloveds. If you think about what's going on in the world right now with the stay put kind of orders that we have to be in the house, this is really telling us that when this is over, be ready to go full force living and expressing and being bountiful. While you're in this house, know that you're pregnant and get ready to give birth to this new you, this new world that is not imprinted, is how it's coming through, that is not imprinted with the conditions and preconditioning of generations that have passed, okay? But that is brand new and full of visions yet to be born and ideas yet to be explored, and that has no tethers, no leashes, and that is totally fueled by unconditional love and a connection to Mother Nature and the bountifulness of Mother Nature, the fullness and the nurturing. And this child wants to give back. Children always give. So that's very deep. Visualization. Imagine yourself as the Great Mother. Feel yourself sitting in the midst of a lush landscape, surrounded by radiant colors and bright sounds. Listen, see, make everything very clear. Notice details, notice textures, and feel and intensify those feelings Stay as long as you like and be nourished. Astrological sign, Venus. Foods and colors. mm. Emerald green. Emerald green. I've been saying green, 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 green. Hashtag green, hashtag green. Green, 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 green. On Facebook. Even the rainbow has been green, 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 green. Everything is green. That little child in me has been screaming green, 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 green. And here we go again. Emerald green is the color of bounty, nature's backdrop to all the riches of earth. Go outside and enjoy a forest, or surround yourself with living plants. In early spring, you may want to forage for wild foods. There are plenty of books on the subject at your local library. This is a sure way to begin to realize that Earth Mother is always trying to provide for us. Wear her rich greens. Green is the color of balance and of plenty. It is the security of all that grows by itself. Turning the past into pleasure. Many people have difficulty thinking of their past as something positive and appreciating the experiences that brought them to their present state of being. It is true that many people have endured real hardship and trauma in their lives, yet continuing to dwell on these past problems seldom does anything but handicap the person in the present. One of the lessons of the bounty card is to appreciate all that has come before, to realize that at worst, it was all compost for what is growing inside you now. You can turn painful memories into a rich soil in which to develop the garden of your present delights. You will need a partner willing to work with you on this experiment. Perhaps someone who also wants to transform one of their own past memories. Then bring to mind the event that you feel most often trips you up time and again, something you wish you had not happened, something you wish had not happened quite the way it did. When it is clear in your mind, only one at a time, please. Continue with your friend in the following way. 1. Tell the event as a sad story. 2. Tell the event from another person's point of view. 3. Tell the event from the perspective of an imagined high being. 4. Tell the event as if it were a very happy occurrence. 5. Tell the event as if it was a situation comedy. Your friend only listens to each telling, perhaps asking questions for clarification and to encourage a full retelling of the tale each time. Then tell the story a 6th time, this time in a way that feels empowering to you. It may be a combination of some of the other ways you told it, or it may be totally new. Then ask your partner which way he or she liked the story best and why. Now go into your relaxed state and revision the entire event just the way you would have liked it to be. This is your new memory. It is now a creation that will bring forth bounty. This, beloveds, is how you repattern your thinking. So every time your mind wants to go back and dwell on what woulda, coulda, shoulda, and trauma and drama, and you say, no, that didn't happen. It happened this way that you're telling, this way that you see it now. And keep telling yourself this is how it happened. And before you know it, you are changing vibrations and frequencies and patterns, and the way you interact is going to be different in the present going forward, simply because of you fixed that in your past by reliving it a different way, by reweaving it into a different pattern. So the image of it will be totally different. The way you engage with that vision will be totally different. So there are people that always, Valerie, you think too much. Get out of your head. Why do you keep going over the same old stuff? Everybody has their own same story. Everybody has a story. Yeah, everybody has a story. But sometimes those stories have to be worked out for some to move forward. And this is telling you how to do that. Instead of that same story, rewrite that story. Rewrite it from many different perspectives. And then write it in the perspective that you wish had really manifested. And tell yourself that this is the version. This is the only version of that situation or that event or whatever it was that you're going to allow yourself to dwell on and think about. And every time you want to go back to the other way, correct yourself. And soon, like I said, this is saying you create a new narrative. Okay, let's keep going. You may at first feel that this new memory is not true, but if you interviewed everyone who was originally involved in the event as you first recalled it, each person would have a different version of the truth. The real truth is whatever will set you free of the limitation this memory has put on you. You are taking power over the past by remembering you are perceiving the situation differently, just as each person initially involved perceives it differently than you ever did. Every past experience can be a gift if you work with it this way. Your life is rich in memories that guide your present. Rearrange them to totally support the you that you are becoming now. How powerful is that? That is truly a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. That is not fool's gold. That is something you can that can change your whole perspective because it's changing your preconditioned mindset, vibration, frequency. And it's teaching you how to interact with things when you stumble and make a mistake. You can instantly correct yourself and envision the way you want it to be in that moment, not just 2020 hindsight. And the better you get at this, it's like, when you see, the other night I watched Lucy on television, and she was just gone with those screens and what she was seeing and scrolling through, and she would come to these different times and periods in life, and you could just see her just envisioning everything, and when she was done she would go like this and the next would come. And so again, as we begin to learn how to rewrite the coding and conditioning that we've received through what we've experienced previously in life with our thoughts and our feelings and our attachments to them, and how the mind is always reliving them. And so you're always re-inflicting that pain or going back through that anxiety or bringing up that particular energy those ghosts. This way you get to exercise them, you get to free them, you get to change them into something much more pleasant that's going to help and guide you through. Again, this card, the bounty card, is very, was such a gift, beloveds. This, such a gift, such a gift. We did get nourished. We did sit by that water and that tree and the corn and the cornucopia basket, and the mother did feed us. The rainbow is there and the sun rays, and the stillness of this card is very powerful. The message of it is very powerful. Okay, the next card that was drawn was the Apprentice of Pipes. Apprentice of Pipes. Okay. Apprentice of Pipes, channeling the light. Wow. If you've been following me on Facebook, the first light workers were the Quakers, which has kind of blown me away because I never would have associated the Quakers with being light workers. But they were the ones to bring that wisdom forward from those times into the Americas, into the United States of America, I should say. Okay, here we go. And they escaped England, so from being persecuted. So there's a lot of depth there. Apprentice of Pipes, channeling the light, prayer. I open now to the message that comes from within. I shall be brave in carrying out the Spirit's call. This time I light my pipe, having come a long way, another leg of my journey complete. I take time here to pause and renew my vision. Again, we're given the word vision, beloveds. Vision and telepathic communication. I seclude myself so that my inner words shall be clear. Then I will take up my pack and walk again, knowing my way. My body now is a channel, an instrument of light, and wherever I go, wherever my talent, I shall inspire others by my manner of being. I open to the flow as I feel it within me. That's very deep because, like I said, sometimes I go through periods where I'm writing, and I'm sharing prolifically. And then there are other times where I'm like, no, I'm not sharing my writings. Or no, I'm not going to write because no. And then lately it's been fluctuating between the two. But I'm finding and looking for what gives me joy. And what is giving me joy is in allowing the frequency of it just to pour forth. And however that frequency is going to be received, distributed, broken up, put together, I leave it to source. I'll say that. I'll leave it to source. And again, I say that because channeling light, words are light frequencies, beloveds. And so when I write, I tap into something very deep within me. And sometimes it's different aspects of me, past as far as past, present, and even future. Lives, dimensions, experiences. so forth and so on. And in doing that, it is passing the pipe, so to speak. It is lighting in and passing the pipe. So it's not something that I'm supposed to hold on to. It's not something I'm supposed to hoard. It's not something that I'm supposed to lay claim to. And it's used to bring peace and love. And so let me just keep going from there. You no longer depend so much on, okay, sorry. You work with a true, let me stop, okay. Let me ground myself because something just came up that just kind of, whoo, okay. Okay, sorry about that. I take my time here. I'm just going to start reading this over because, whoo, whatever that was very deep. Um, I guess it needed to come to the surface. So for that, I'm thankful. And when I watch this over, I'll understand more because right now I'm really puzzled about it. But it is what it is. So let's move forward. Apprentice of Pipes channeling the light. Prayer. I open now to the message that comes from within. I shall be brave in carrying out the Spirit's call. This time I light my pipe, having come a long way. Another leg of my journey complete. I take time here to pause and renew my vision. I seclude myself so that my inner words shall be clear. Then I will take up my pack and walk again, knowing my way. My body now is a channel, an instrument of light, and wherever I go, whatever my talent, I shall inspire others. By my manner of being, I open to the flow as I feel it within me. Again, I can see this taking root as we are all sequestered in our homes right now. And we're to seclude ourselves so that our inner words are clear. We are being given time to listen. Lesson. At this point, though you may be well known for what you have done, you begin a new level of study. You work with a true master on either the inner or the outer planes. Your body will learn to further refine its talents. What is the message you came to deliver to the world? Every fiber of your being is now going to learn to express it. Whew, that is deep. That is deep. Okay, that is what this little energy, frequency, resistance, tension is for me with this. Okay. You no longer depend so much on the instruments of your trade. You have mastered them. Now you depend on the instrument of self. Your body becomes a clear channel, energy freely flowing. You are a student again, but filled with grace. That's very deep, beloveds. That's very deep. As I'm looking at this, I'm seeing a crane. Also could be a, what's it? What are they called? Heron? A crane, heron. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a very deep card. There's a lot of motion in it with the little lightning bolts, the golden lightning bolts, and then you have the purple and the pink, and you can see the bird's head by her head, her arms, the position, and the wings. It's a very deep card. Okay, the next card is the Ten of Stones. And I always feel funny about this card. Why, I have no clue, but I always do. Ten of Stones. And let's read it. Accepting recognition. Prayer. My rewards are many at this phase of my career. A good harvest is always certain. People honor me with their purchases. I have earned what I received. I can relax for a time and rest before I am asked to go on to yet another level of experiencing this work. I can pass some of my wealth on to those behind me and free myself for other things I have begun to desire. It is a rich time in many ways, and greater freedom is coming. Lesson. You have been discovered. A place has been made for you in the marketplace. You have found your niche. This can be an exciting and adventurous period. You may at times long for the quiet role of the student or novice. Fame may tempt you to overwork and overproduce. Use caution. Remember your real values. Keep your priorities straight. Your inner peace and conviction are what brought you here. Don't be tempted to set them aside. You have reached a peak. Always understand that peaks are temporary. Enjoy it. Use it to your advantage and comfortably prepare for the next phase, which will place you in the role of student once again. You will be moving onto a higher level of learning as an apprentice of stones. That is so deep. And beloveds, because that was that deep, I want to read to you what the stone cards are about, simply because um, that'll help anchor this message, because you're going to be a student of the stones. This is the next phase coming out of this corona virus. So let's go forth with that. The suit of stones in other decks has been called pentacles or coins. In the original Medicine Woman Inner Guidebook, it was called beads. But it has been renamed stones in order to bring your awareness back to the source of all goods and means of exchange. Earth herself, the substance Earth, is the raw material for everything made on this planet, including its life forms, the plants, animals, and human beings. In 21st century technological societies, there is little awareness of the consciousness that dwells within anything made of earth other than the human form. However, the native people of the world have always seen indwelling consciousness indwelling in all things. It may be easy for you to recognize consciousness in animals, even plants, but what about the dirt itself? Stones and human created goods. To make a sense of how consciousness might be in everything, try to think of it this way. Imagine the original native people living their harmonious lives close to nature. They lived, acquired wisdom through experiences, and died. Generation after generation was buried in the earth, where bodies were transformed into elemental earth forms once again. Dust to dust, bones and flesh changed into smaller and smaller living organisms, microbiological and chemical life elements, the nutrients that create future bodies through the plants, soil, and stones. That is so powerful, and that we're dealing with this virus right now. So, beloveds, if you need to rewind this and listen to this portion again, please do so, because it's very powerful. Through the soul of the human, though the soul of the human being has left its material form and expanded into higher levels of life, it has left something of its wisdom in each element from which it had previously taken form. Literally, the stones are our ancestors. The spirits of our ancestors may live elsewhere in higher vibratory bodies, possibly finished with earth incarnations, but they have left us their life wisdom in the substance of earth itself. How do we discover these wisdoms hidden within things? Natural objects, such as plants and stones, can be related to in a way similar to how you relate to human beings. After all, they once were somebody. Now their elements have entered a new kingdom. Their aliveness and growth have begun following different laws. Their guides are nature spirits and devas, beings mostly unseen by human eyes. Fairies, elves, gnomes, and all of the little people who inhabit Earth Mother's mystery are their friends. If you are among the fortunate few, you may be able to cross from your human spiritual world into theirs through the opening you create by your belief in their existence. But whether or not you see fairies and elves and such, you can still honor the life you do see, the plants, trees, and stones of Earth's body. Think of crystals and gems as the crystallization of the purest consciousness bequeathed to us by our ancestors. So, when you're holding a crystal, or let's see here, this one is my favorite. This is the one I usually take with me when I go visit my grandchildren, and it's an amethyst geode, from a geode, and its energy is just very peaceful to me. It's very calming, very soothing. And if you relate to what was just given to you, this is a conglomeration of ancestors and wisdom. And when you learn to tune into the frequency that these beings have left behind and that have turned into stones, crystallized matter that are governed by a different set of laws than the human body. But you are the same as this in nature. And when you learn to telepathically, there's that word again, learn to exchange information, energy, you're really connecting. And like I said, when I pick this up, it soothes me, it comforts me. I take it with me simply because of the way it makes me feel. And this is a spiritual being, just as I am a spiritual being. This is existence, just as I am existence. And we communicate. Whether I make it comfortable or whatever, I don't know. I probably get on his nerves. but it soothes me. So the relationship is a beautiful one. Let me keep going forward with that. Think of crystals and gems as the crystallization of the purest consciousness bequeathed to us by our ancestors. You might think of crystal as Christ all. Whoa, Christ all. Crystal, Christ all. A stone created by a Christed consciousness, a clear consciousness of total love. So this is the total love deposited or residue left by a living being. Holding this view, these stones are very sacred, but who can tap this consciousness from the stone? Only those seeking that Christ light within themselves. That means you first have to identify these frequencies within yourself. This has mastered the human form. This is the residue of what was left. I'm not going to call it poop, but that's the word that the little child in me voiced to make its own connection. But understand. Poop. Okay. But you can tap this consciousness from the stone. Only those seeking that Christ light within themselves. Each gem and stone is an individual entity with a lesson of its own to teach. And each one is also a jewel in the conscious living body of Mother Earth herself. Mother Earth is a very luxurious being. Though she may appear quite simple on the surface, her treasures, like your own, are within. They take some digging and polishing to uncover. There we go with that. Over the rainbow again, the emerald tablets of Thoth and so forth. The pot of gold, the luxurious bounty, the abundance. There we go. She also has gifts of gold and silver to give you. Precious metals, ores, oils, and woods. Most often we receive these gifts in our modern lives after they have been manufactured into products by others. It is easy for us to forget Earth, part in their creation, and it is particularly easy to forget the aliveness of these things. Beloveds, what is coming forth is we really need to understand that the coronavirus is an entity and it is alive. And it is making us look at it. It is making us look at life, the life force, the life essence. It is making us be grateful for the ability to exist. And that existence can be here one day and gone the next. There's a lot to understand. There's a lot that's coming, but it's I don't know, it's under the surface kind of, but I'm getting it'll come. I'm trying not to make this too long, but I see it's already over an hour, so it is what it is. Let me let's see. Okay, I'm going to plug this up and I'll be right back again, so give me a moment. Okay, we're back. We were speaking about the crystals, beloveds, and how we need to recognize that, like the crystals, the coronavirus is a living entity, and it is communicating a lot of things to us, and that we should pay attention to the many lessons that are being given to us. There's a lot of opportunities for burying or letting go of things that will no longer be able to go into this next phase or next stage of life. So there are things that we're being told to let go of and the way to let go of them is to repattern them or rethink them in your mind. And one of those things is what's coming up is government, community, our ability to communicate with each other, our ability to see and know each other, our ability to be still and to go within, and knowing how important that is from not just a physical standpoint, but from a mental and emotional and spiritual standpoint as well. Because just as our body is depleted, so are our emotions and our anxiousness and those kind of thoughts in our spirit. So we have to take time to replenish ourselves, take time to dig up and polish and go through the things that we need to go through. And again, this is the time to do it. And this time is being given to us globally all at once. And that in itself should really impart how serious of a nature this is and our connection to the nature of this virus. And to also understand that it is not something separate from us. And even if we are not a living host for it, it is still affecting us. And it will affect us for the rest of our lives. So there's a lot that is being given here. The fact that this 10 of stones came up. 10 being the last number before the numbers repeat. Again, 10 is a beginnings, endings and beginnings, new beginnings. 10 is also a very powerful number in when you look at decades and multiplying by tens. The power of 10 has a great significance. So there's a lot here, beloveds. Let me keep going. Each gem and stone is an individual entity with a lesson of its own to teach. And each one is also a jewel in the conscious living body of Mother Earth herself. Mother Earth is a very luxurious being. Though she may appear quite simple on the surface, her treasures, like your own, are within. They take some digging and polishing to uncover. She also has gifts of gold and silver to give you, precious metals, ores, woods, oils. Most often we receive these gifts in our modern lives after they have been manufactured into products by others. It is easy for us to forget Earth's part in their creation And it is particularly easy to forget their aliveness of all these things. Native people once understood that for every process they put a natural object through, they must make up for its loss of aliveness or consciousness by replacing it with their own. Think about that with the coronavirus, beloveds. Think about that as, and the reason I said think about that is because so many things that are being manufactured or have to be manufactured have stopped. So many things I've looked at, um, how so many parts of the earth is recovering because human beings aren't in production mode. We aren't using her resources to make things or to change the structure of her natural things. This is what is meant by the exchange of consciousness. So if you were to look at this from a shamanic point of view, this virus is collecting debt for the consciousness that we have, that we owe, for using the natural resources of the earth the way we have. And again, beloveds, this is by the indigenous ones' accounts. This is not the first time the earth has come to this point with humanity, because humanity, once again, has taken advantage and has ravaged Mother Earth's bounties and gifts with greed and no thought to her body, or to her elements, or to her substance, or to her consciousness. Mother Earth has a consciousness, and we are not considering her, but yet we live on her. She is our host. We are parasites on her. We are the caretakers that are supposed to be nurturing her. And being symbiotic, in a symbiotic relationship with her, being in a telepathic relationship. There's that word. I want you to think of the coronavirus as a message, a telepathic message that has manifested in a way that it is giving us a language, it is giving us a message. It's very deep. I'll keep going, but beloved, that has a deep frequency to it. So pay attention to that. Put simply, okay, sorry. She also has gifts of gold and silver to give you, precious metal ores and oils and woods. Most often we receive these gifts in our modern lives after they have been manufactured into products by others. It is easy for us to forget Earth's part in their creation, and it is particularly easy to forget the aliveness of these things. Native people once understood that for that every process they put a natural object through, they must make up for its loss of aliveness or consciousness by replacing it with their own. Put simple, when they polished and shaped a stone, a changing in its former integrity. They added their loving desire to create, according to an inspired vision. In other words, they put their spirit into each object. Today we think of artists and craftspeople doing this, but in Native lives, every process was art. Every process was art. Every process, everything you did was considered an art. And you were exchanging energies with what you were doing with your hands, with your being, with your vision. You were transforming. Today we think, okay, I read that. But in Native lives, every process was art. A builder talked to the trees and stones, requesting them to give up their forms to become a dwelling. With their agreement, she would proceed, adding her love every step of the way. The finished product was then a living thing, a dwelling filled with life energy. You can intuitively sense this energy in any handcrafted item. What about present day mass produced items? These are, for the most part, dead. They have often been taken, no doubt, without asking permission from the earth, as raw materials in a disgraceful and ungrateful way. Meaning, beloveds, look at what is happening to the rainforest. Look at what is happening to the redwoods and the sequoias. Look at what is happening to the land with the fracking. Look at what is happening to the oceans with the pollution and what we're doing to the coral reefs. Look at what we're doing to the animals. Look at the way, the manner in which we're communicating with this living spiritual being that we know as the earth. We have disconnected ourselves from her and we're ravaging her. And we're taking her essence and her cell away from her. Things that have been deposited by generations of our ancestors and animals and everything that has existed. Things that have taken thousands of years to form. Crystals and jewels and gems. And we're taking those things and acting as if they're nothing. Bling bling to be used to show vanity and wealth, giving no consideration to the sacredness, to the essence, to the life energy, to existence that exists with it. And then we wonder why we're going through the things that we go through, when universal law says what you put out comes back to you. What about present day mass produced items? These are for the most part dead. They have often been taken, no doubt, without asking permission from the earth as raw materials in a disgraceful and ungrateful way. Nothing has been given back to earth in return for her treasures, her body laid bare, unloved, unrespected. The materials are handled by a series of unhappy, underpaid, uninspired workers, ignorant of their role in this crime. And oftentimes we're seeing children now digging in the dirt and in the coal mines, and we've heard of blood diamonds, and we know all of this to be true. And we are allowing it by a few. The materials are handled by a series of unhappy, underpaid, uninspired workers ignorant of their role in this crime. More humans who are also suffering from this disrespect and feel the lack it causes in their lives try to make up for it by charging a lot of money to replace the worth that has been stolen. You simply needing a tool or wanting a tiny pleasure purchase the goods. Then you become a part of this chain. You have traded your work-earned money for a pretty and useful but dead thing. From you, it will ask for life. All of our things are dead things, and we're now scraping and scrounging to make masks, to make ventilators, to make gloves, to keep people alive. Because of what we have done to the earth by not considering her spirit. If you value it, love it, care for it, use it fully for its purpose, and thank the elements from which it is made, you will have given back the consciousness it has lacked. Ideally, you will then pass it on, an antique shining with the patina of having aged with care, or you will bury it once again to become the body of Earth Mother, restoring it to its original source. You may have and enjoy all the gold and riches of the earth. You may acquire as many possessions as you wish. Your power and theirs comes only from loving them and using them with your own high consciousness. Any object can empower you if you treat it as an entity with whom you have a relationship. Any object can steal your life energy if you are unaware of its life process. And beloveds, that is so very powerful. That is so very powerful when we're dealing with an unseen enemy right now, a virus. Any object can steal your life energy if you are unaware of its life process. If it was not taken from earth and created respectfully, you must understand that it will haunt you with its desperate need. Whew, that's deep. That's so deep. The movie Beloved just came up for me, and it just showed the human being as the earth, the mother as the earth, the one who played Oprah as the earth, and the child being the gold, the jewels, the diamonds, the treasures that are taken and their spirits taken, and you give nothing back to that child, that essence, and it comes back to haunt you one way or another. You're going to, again, the universal laws are going to hold you accountable. The universal laws are going to hold you accountable. And the lesson that you need to learn is that what you do you're doing to yourself. You're doing that to yourself. You're destroying yourself. And there's no way to get around it other than to rethink, repattern. As the earlier cards mentioned. This is so deep. Foods are gifts from Mother Earth, too. It is perhaps easiest here to see that you end up healthier if you garden, cook, and eat simply and with love. If you eat highly processed, chemicalized foods from abused soil, your body must simply give up its life force to them. It's an exchange. Mama Sao, Mama Kusa. You want to be starting something. You're vegetable. Michael Jackson's song, You Want to Be Starting Something. I was led to share it on my Facebook page, and here it is coming full force once again. The garden, that we are vegetables. We think human being is the highest thing that there is, and everything else is a food source. We are food sources. Just like that crystal, when we are no more, our bodies go into the ground as nutrients, as essence. But when you have GMO corporations seeding poison, what are you going to harvest from that? What is going to happen to the essence of that living matter, that living spiritual essence? Is going to be tainted, and you are going to, whoever is going to eat from that, you are going to pay the cost of that. And as we reincarnate, we're not getting it. It is time to get it, beloveds. When we come out of these houses, we better come out of these houses brand new beings with brand new ways, brand new thoughts. We need visionaries. We need those who understand that the foundation that was needs to be destroyed. It can no longer be used as a model. It can no longer be used as the foundation to build upon because of where it has brought us. New energy, new blood, new essence, new frequency, new vibration. Or there will come something stronger than a coronavirus next for us. Because everything is an exchange. And we invite the exchange that we receive. There's no God that we blame for this or that or anything. It is the nature, it is the natural way, based upon universal laws. And those laws are governed by human beings who have a relationship with the earth. We can say we're married to the earth and we're abusing her. Domestic violence, dysfunctional children. So, on a cellular level, now we have corona. Foods are gifts from Mother Earth, too. It is perhaps easiest here to see that you end up healthier if you garden, cook, and eat simply and with love. If you eat highly processed, chemicalized foods from abused soils, your body must simply give up its life force to them. Youth has an abundance of life force, and the results of a sugar, soft drink, abused animal, pesticide, vegetable diet can go unnoticed for years. But balance will come either through human awareness and change or disintegration of the body, causing death and transformation back into those simple living organisms that create nutrients for earth. Dust to dust. You must see the circle of life. There is absolutely no taking without giving. I have elaborated on the suit of stones because we live in a very material consuming society and do not see our part in the process. The current technological culture doesn't want to recognize death, decay, disintegration, and transformation. Every precaution is taken against seeing or talking about the end, because the end is not seen to be also the beginning. Whew. These three cards, beloveds, these three cards coming from the place of a message from my mother. This is so very powerful. And I hope this message is clear to you as it is to me. This is no coincidence. There's absolutely no taking without giving. And that is just reverberating in me. That is just echoing, 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 echoing. She really wants. There is absolutely no taking without giving. I want you to examine that phrase in as many different ways, in as many different scenarios as you can. There's absolutely no taking without giving. Look at all the things that have been taken. Look at what you take. What do we take for granted? The little things. There is no taking. Without giving, you gonna give something up. Corona is taking now. And we are giving up all the things that we have held on to. All the things that we took to bring ourselves to this point. of being put on lockdown. There were memes that I saw on Facebook. I don't know if I shared them on my page or not, but um, we're in time. The earth has put us in a timeout, sent us to our rooms. On so many levels, we do understand what is taking place, and it frightens us. But there's no need to be frightened. The need is to make that change, is to put in place of powers and principalities that understand universal laws and that have a connection and know how to establish that telepathic connection back again with the earth. I have elaborated on the suit of stones because we live in a very material consuming society and do not see our part in the process. The current technological culture doesn't want to recognize death. How we dye our hair gray? Dye our hair so it's not gray. I saw memes saying people are not going to know each other or know who their neighbors are because they've never seen them looking old, because they can't get to the store or they can't get all this processed stuff to change their appearance or make themselves look different. All the older women who are going around with plastic surgeries and everything else. The chemicals in the bodies, the booty shots, the surgeries to make you look younger, more youthful, more attractive, more pretty. These are the things that are important to us, and these are the things that we die for. A popularity contest. Because you want to look good. Looking good is more important than being good. And we don't want to have a relationship with death when death is part of life. It's the transformative phase of life. It's the natural outcome. Just like those crystals. That is the natural outcome of things having died. But it is still living. It is just in another form. But we have such an unnatural attachment and detachment to death, the relationship. And you cannot exist on Mother Earth and have this kind of, the word that's coming, fetish with death. All forms change into new, all forms change into new forms. Age becoming youth, death becoming life, disease becoming health, goods becoming earth, earth becoming us. There can be no true hoarding of anything. You can only have as long as you care for. Loving care of anything, your body, your relationships, your house, your car, your toothbrush, your talent, is all that keeps it going. Leave anything alone without your consciousness maintaining it, and it will soon be gone, changed into something else. Why do divorces happen? Why do breakups happen? Why do arguments happen? Because your focus shifted to something else and change took place. Disconnection took place. It reshaped itself. I no longer love you the way I used to. I no longer look at you the way I used to. You're a different person. I changed, you didn't change. I was focused on this, you were focused on that. So what we have didn't grow together, it grew apart. Leave anything alone without your consciousness maintaining it, and it will soon be gone, changed into something else. Our relationship with the earth, we have not been consciously relating to her, consciously involved in her, consciously focusing on her, what is best for her. Because what is best for her is best for us. We need to reshift our thinking. That is what this period of time, this blessing, this grace, this gift is about. And it's costing. It's costing. But it is a debt that is owed. But we don't have to keep repeating this cycle of debt. We can form better relationships. Relationships of renewal and regeneration and bounty and beauty and balance for all. And we can teach each other how to lovingly communicate and create and work. Just like that saying, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Because she's not putting the love in the food. She's not putting the love. She's not spreading the love like she usually does. So we have to understand Mother Earth is just like that mama. And her consciousness is fully present right now. So when I say mama is home, that divine feminine consciousness is woke, is present, and you are not, you are not going to disrespect her. And she is collecting on what you owe her. And you better make it right, or woe be to you and yours. Because she knows how to start over. Clean slate. She does not depend upon us. We depend upon her. But we get it into our heads that we're superior and we're going to create and be creators of technology based upon her originality. And that's that copyright signature kind of plagiarism and all of that. I stole your ideas and I'm going to use it to mass produce this and this and that. And what do you say? You can't. There's absolutely no taking without giving. In other words, what you do comes back to you. If you take something from somebody, something is going to be taken from you. Universal laws. Leave loving care. Wait a minute. There can be no true hoarding of anything. You can only have as long as you can care for. Loving care of anything, your body, your relationship, your house, your car, your toothbrush, your talent, is all that keeps it going. Leave anything alone without your conscious maintaining it, and it will soon be gone, changed into something else. To have, you must hold. Hold gently and kindly in your mind the image of loving respect for all beings and all things. Then they will live for you and give life to you as well. To have, you must hold. Hold gently and kindly in your mind the image of loving respect for all beings and all things. Then they will live for you and give life to you as well. Beloveds, do you know how precious of a message that is right now with the things that are going on around us and inside of us? We have nurses and doctors putting their lives on the line, telling people to stay home. We have refrigerated trucks outside of hospitals to keep the dead bodies in because it's overrunning the hospital morgues. And you have people who still won't stay inside until this time is over. This cleaning, this purging, this debt is paid. And they're going around, I'm not sick, but they're spreading it because it takes 14 days for signs and symptoms to occur. The earth will survive us. And we bring things upon ourselves. You know those old sayings? If you lie in the bed with a dog, you're going to get up with fleas. If you are unconscious, you are not conscious of your connection to everything in existence, then you are a danger to yourself and the original composition, because it will transform and it will change because of your unconscious awareness to the connection of it. And it will go through cycles and seasons to rebalance itself. And this is a giving. It can be seen from the microcosm to the macrocosm of existence. Divine laws do not change. Universal laws do not change. There is no need for it to change because it is the truth. We, as beings, like to customize things to our liking, to our vanities, to our vision. Some things are not customizable. It is what it is because it was created with divine wisdom. Meaning, you don't change it, you change yourself to fit its laws, will, frequency, pattern, conditions, cycles, seasons. That is intelligence. To resist and to go against that is insanity. And we are living, existing in a pattern of insanity. We call it chaos. I call it insanity. That's what I'm starting to see it as now, as insanity. We have a lot that we have to pay for. And beloveds, we can pay for it in this way, or we can pay it forward by putting leaders are putting people in places and principalities that are able to consciously interact on our behalf with the earth and the cosmos, with all frequencies. And I'm going to just leave it there because, beloveds, it is what it is, and there's no way to keep saying it. You know how mama said, I ain't gonna keep repeating myself. I ain't gonna keep repeating myself. You know, how many times does it take for us to get it? There is no contest between us and mama. There is no contest between us and the earth. The earth will win every single time. And no matter how much you rob her and rape her and take from her, everything is going to be rolled back over. And you're going to reincarnate again and try the whole thing over. You know what? Last night, I came across a meme of Pinky and the Brain and posted it on Facebook. I don't know what made me do it, but and I just kept staring at it and staring at it before I posted. The energy was just that wild. And I was like, okay. And the post said, it was Pinky talking to the Brain. Pinky was saying, they're weak now, Brain. They've been in the house from this virus. You know, the virus got them. They're weak now. Come on, we can take over the world now, Pinky. Come on, we can take over the world now, Brain. Come on, let's go. I don't know what more to say. These 3 cards have said it all. These 3 cards have said it all. And I got Bounty upside down. There we go. They have said it all. I'm almost at 2 hours, but I'm being told to read the 10 of Stone again. So I will, as an ending. 10 of Stones is on page 158, which is 14, which is 5. Okay, it's that number 5. Okay, 158. Ten of Stones, accepting recognition. Accepting recognition. Prayer. My rewards are many at this phase of my career. A good harvest is always certain. People honor me with their purchases. I have earned what I receive. I can relax for a time and rest before I am asked to go on to yet another level of experiencing this work. I can pass some of my wealth on to those behind me and free myself for other things I have begun to desire. It is a rich time in many ways, and greater freedom is coming. The lesson: you have discovered a place has been made for you in the marketplace. You have found your niche. This can be an exciting and adventurous period. You may at times long for the quiet role of the student or novice. Fame may tempt you to overwork and overproduce. Use caution. Remember your real values. Keep your priorities straight. Your inner peace and conviction are what brought you here. Don't be tempted to set them aside. You have reached a peak. Always understand that peaks are temporary. Enjoy it. Use it to your advantage and comfortably prepare for the next phase, which will place you in the role of student once again. You will be moving on to a higher level of learning as an apprentice of stones. So we are being given an opportunity to realize that we have peaked, we have reached a peak in our evolution, in our ascension, and this peak is temporary, and a new way is necessary. And so everything that we have learned, we need now to let it go and learn again from beginning, the very basics all over again. And that we are now the apprentice of the stones, meaning the earth spirit is being given to us as an infant. It's bounty. And it is up to us to form this bond with what is essentially us. We need to telepathically connect to the earth and realize that everything is reciprocal. And the laws that we need to be governed by are universal laws. And there is no us or them. There is existence and there is death. And you either nurture and foster existence and extending that existence, or you nurture and foster death. More of the coronavirus, more of the rich hoarding resources, more of them getting richer by contaminating the waters and the lands until we are nothing but potential to start all over again into everything. It's very basic, beloveds. It is not complicated at all. Mama is not complicated. Not at all. Not at all. I got a GED. I get it. When you get it, share it. Share it in your household. Share it with your community. Put those in place that understand these values, this wisdom, this knowledge. Those that can receive it with no agendas of their own. Because once you understand, there's no taking without giving. There's no magic. There's only spirit. And that is going to do it for this video. I'm going to make another using other decks, but this particular one, I'm going to end it how it is. And like I said, this one is very powerful with the messages that have come through. It is what it is, beloveds. Namaste, and be safe. Wash your hands. Like I said, basic. We're being taken back to the basics. Stand in line, wait your turn. Be nice. Mama's home.